We're going right now.
There you go.
Hi, guys. How are you? I have Jamal with me. Jamal, say hi to the people.
Hey, people. How you doing? Happy Thursday.
No, we're live now. Lord have mercy. Jamal, what do you think about everything that's going on right now?
It's just, I will say this. Growing up, when I grew up in the 90s, we, I don't think we ever thought we would be here because I asked a couple of friends who I grew up with who were still friendly. And I'm like, with the way the world is, did you think we would be where we're at? And we all said no. We thought we would be in a much better place. A much better place. Because you had technology coming out, all that good stuff. You had, people seem to be getting along, this, and that. Where I grew up, it was kind of weird. Like, we were mixed races everywhere. So I grew up around Korean, Indian, Pakistani, everything. So these times are weird for me. I don't understand them. Like, how is this happening? But then I have to realize not every place is like this. And I'm like,
Okay.
some of y'all still teaching certain ways of life.
This is crazy because let me tell you something. I pulled up some stats, right? It says since 2015, police officers have fatally shot at least, now this was stats as of January. So let's add the other 5. Police have fatally shot 140 unarmed Black men and women nationwide. The latest one, which was the guy that I was just saying, that was back in January. Mm-hmm. But out of the 15 of the officers involved, they said more than, it wasn't their first time being involved in a shooting. Mm-hmm. Some have been involved in 2 or more. Others have had with no consequences. They never got reprimanded or anything for any of these shootings.
I know. I reviewed some of the cases that you sent over. I just kind of Googled them just to get an idea of where it's coming from. Mm-hmm. And the fact that you could literally kill someone and still have her job was kind of amazing to me. I was appalled. That was number one. And the other one that struck me was when people are running away. Why chase someone who's running away? It makes no sense to me. They weren't like one guy. I'll pick the guy in Barstow because that's the one that really struck a chord in me the most. Because
that was Walter Scott that was shot in the back.
Was it? I thought
it was Walter Scott. He had been stopped, and a cop. He was stopped for non-functioning tail light or something.
Not that one. It's the guy in Barstow, Nathaniel Pickett.
Nathaniel, yes.
Yes. That one, I read through about 5 of them. That struck me the most because he was just going back to his $18 a night room, just as he always did, and this guy just decided to stop him. I'm like, well, he didn't do anything. He was just walking, and you even admitted you had no cause to stop him. And for him to be killed behind that, it was just appalling. I'm like, how would he even still have a job?
And he was mentally ill. He was mentally ill. He had been living in a motel, walk into his motel room, and he admitted it. Now, the family got paid $33.5 million. That still don't bring back their son.
No, not at all.
Not at all. So, yeah, but it's just sad. Hi, Sincere. Welcome, sweetie.
How you doing, brother and sister? Salute. I'm here.
Good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Sincere, do you know Jamal?
No, I don't know him personally. This is my first time ever having a conversation with him.
Pleased to meet you. I've seen you on Hottie Shows before.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
I'm always on the case when it comes to this Black issue. I'm interested in it.
Okay, guys, let's do our roll call since we're here. We have KK, we have Kels, we have Mina. We have Mina, of course. And wait a minute, where else? Let me see. Hoot 3. Hi, Hoot. Welcome. We have, let's see. I got to keep scrolling because they talk to each other. Hi, Amber Robs. Hi, Dr. Melanie. I called you and left you a message earlier, too. Let's see. Sincere is here. Okay, so guys, Sincere, did you get a chance to look at what I sent to you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I looked at the whole information you sent to me, and that's what I'm saying, Heidi. I look at what everybody sends me, but my thing is like, what can we do, Jamal and Heidi, to make a change? That's my biggest thing. It's an ongoing cycle. What can we do as a race to change it?
I think it's more starts within the police department, because I was just reading like I don't know if you guys read this one, but the one that floored me was the guy he applied. He wasn't hired at this one department, but he drove 8 miles a year later and got hired. And he had like 10 red flags. I'm like,
10 red flags.
And y'all hired what? And then he wound up killing somebody. I'm like, no. This is step one, is the hiring process of police officers. We have to demand better standards. It can't just be a body to fill. And that's what they said. That's what they said. They're like, some of these places who are strapped for people, it's just we need a body, and this is what we get. I'm like, no, you cannot do that, because you're giving these people authority over civilians' lives, and then you're giving them weapons, and then they may have their own mental issues on top of that. So you basically put a ticking time bomb in the community. That's not right.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? Do you think it's the officers that are fearing for their life, or the suspects that they're going after are fearing for their life?
Okay, here's the thing. I'm glad you said that. When it comes to the way white officers treat, and this is, guys, there's a study on it. It's done by the National Public Radio. There's a study. They're saying that a lot of white cops fear black men. So the first thing they do is put the hands on a gun. But then you got to look at it. You have the black men that are being stopped, or the black woman that's being stopped, and they have a fear of being stopped by a white officer. Yeah. So I'm going to tell you, I don't think it's black people are viewed as aggressive.
Yes.
I know when I'm at work, and we might be in a meeting or something, and I'm saying no, but it's the tone of voice you use, because then they'll look at you. I'm like, oh, let's not start this, but let this white lady stand up and have a fucking meltdown. Are you okay? Are you having a bad day? But if it's me, I'm aggressive.
That's the question at hand that I have too. That's the confusion that I want to know. What's going on in the mind of the officer when they're apprehending the suspect? And why are they reacting the way they are?
My son, I'm going to tell you, I talked to my son today, and I told you that both of my sons used to be military police. Now one's a special agent, and now one's a trainer. Yes, I asked him about what happened to McCoy. Okay. I said, Nathan, and I'm going to tell you, I said, Nathan, they shot a 16-year, almost 17-year-old girl. He said, Ma, you have to look at it. I said, they couldn't use a taser. He says, granted, he said, it was excessive shooting. He said he should have shot once. He said, in the air, something to get your attention. The man shot 4 times.
Yes.
At a 17-year-old who called him for help.
Yes.
She had the knife. You see it all on video. She had the knife. Even when he pulled up, I did not hear him give not one command. You see the black guy kicking the other girl on the ground and kicking her in the back of the head. He never once offered a command. Never once. Did anybody hear this officer offer a command or say a command?
No.
Did anyone hear? Maybe I missed it.
No.
I didn't hear not one command being issued.
That's what I'm saying, Heidi. We have to find out what's going on in the mind of the officer and why they're reacting to certain individuals when they're apprehending them. That's the question at hand.
Okay. I
have a question. I have a question for you.
Yes.
These studies that you these reports that you have, is there a breakdown by area?
Yes. Yes.
Because I want to know, because I would like to know where the concentration of the issues are.
The concentration.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yo, go ahead. I have respect.
No,
sir. Go ahead, sir.
I was just wondering, the concentration of the biggest issues, like, are most of them in areas that have possible segregation, or are these more like diverse areas? I just want to know where the issues are
Well,
because good.
I mean, my thing is like, can I respond, or are you
Go
finished?
ahead.
Or
Yes, I want y'all to look at what Cecilia just said too.
okay,
Look what I just put on the screen.
yep. What I'm saying to you, Jamal, it's not about, the area where it's at. It's about, I think it's more like it's about the race at hand. That's the issue. Am I on the same page, Jamal,
It's
with you?
what it is. What yes, what I'm saying, the area does matter because we need to know what these people's backgrounds are,
Yes.
because if they are in an area where prejudice or racism is accepted, they're more the more some of these outcomes are more, not say expected, but they're more, you can see where, like, okay,
Yes, sir.
this area, like, this has a tendency to be this way, so we need to like really look at that. Because if
And
you thinking in places like, we'll say, New York,
yep.
where it's a more diverse area and diverse cultures, you won't really see the issues you see in places like some places in the South. So we're on the same page, I think.
Okay. So what you're saying, Jamal, is if you're mapping it out, you're just saying like in major cities, like more of this would happen than in like local cities.
I think in the more diverse areas, these issues wouldn't happen as much as versus more, how you say, rural suburban areas. So I'm just curious to see the breakdown.
But that's what I'm. Okay.
Okay, I
My
want
thing
you to
is
look at these areas. Okay, Killeen, Texas. Okay, you see the case in Killeen? Killeen, Texas is basically Killeen and Temple, Texas. They're
yes.
basically military. I used to live in Killeen. Well, I used to live right outside in Harker Heights when I was married the first time. Okay, they killed a mentally ill man in January,
Yes.
52
I
years old.
remember.
They went to his house. They called for a mental health aid cop. They were told none was available. The cop that went to the home went in. Mr. Warren said he didn't want him in his house.
Yes.
So he barged his way in. Now, the house had a security system. You can hear the shooting. The man got him on the ground, hit him in the head with his gun. Okay, hit him in the head with the gun, turned his gun on the man's wife and told her to stay back from her husband, Patrick. Then he aimed his gun at this man and shot several times and killed him. Then he was involved a year later in another shooting where he killed Michael Dean. Same officer.
Yes.
Same officer. He killed two men.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying, Heidi. What I'm saying is that's why I like talking to the guys like Jamal. They're older. They know from experience. So what do you think, Jamal? Is it about a generational thing, or are they just killing anybody for the color of their skin?
I personally, honestly think it's more. I'm gonna say it's more generational, but it's
Yes.
not too far apart, and that's really sad to say because it's 2021. I say generational because police officers tend to stay on the force 30, 40 years.
Yes.
So if they've been on the force 30 or 40 years, that takes us back to 1981. And if we're assuming they're at least 22 years of age, you're taking them into the 60s,
Yes.
where there was still, racism, segregation. We're coming
Yes.
out of it, but it was still there.
You're talking about like my grandfather's time.
Yeah.
Like he's
So
in his
those
70s.
people,
Okay.
yeah. So those people are still on the force or just retiring. And
Yes.
so I would gather to say, those old school mentalities are still being passed down to, one, their children, and two, the rookies they're training.
Okay, Jamal, you
Yep.
remember there was a time where black cops only patrolled black areas and white cops only patrolled white areas. Then they changed that up. They wanted to diversify. So, first of all, most companies have training. They have racial equality training. They have everything. I know they go to the shooting range. They have to get qualified every 3 to 6 months. I can't remember how often. The same type of training they have for shooting, it's the same type of damn training they need in dealing with a diverse environment. They are not trained on doing that. And if you have mental evaluations, and they can find out when a cop is racist or when they may have racist tendencies. They can do all of that. They can hear the conversations that go on in the locker rooms. The problem is they hear it. The saying is, you hear something, you say something. They don't, because of that blue wall.
Yep. I agree.
They don't. All of these cops knew about Chauvin. They knew about it. No one ever said anything about him. The man had 19 freaking write-ups.
Yeah, he did.
They knew about this man.
Yeah.
Okay, the police chief testified. Fine. You knew about him. You had to sign off on all the stuff that came through. You knew.
Knew him for 10 years. Knew him for 10 years.
You knew.
Yep. Knew where he was bouncing at the club and everything.
Yes.
Knew the facts. So that's my question to you and Heidi and Jamal. What is making the officers make these wrong decisions? Like, what is going on? Like, why
it's
are
not
they
wrong decisions? They think they can get away with it. And I'm agree with whoever said it in the chat. They think they can get away with it because they wear the badge. I'm going to go back to Dylan Roof, the guy that went off and he did all the shooting in North Carolina, 17 years old. He killed all these people in the church. What, 9 people? 9 people. They take this motherfucker they take him to Burger King. Take him to Burger King.
Wasn't that a trip, Heidi? I remember that.
Burger King.
Right after the Yep.
Okay.
So
then you have
that's why. Go ahead.
Kyle Rittenhouse, who went through when they had the protests last year, and he's walking through. He done shot 2 people in this environment. He had the rifle. They saw it. These cops thanked him for being there. Let him leave. Gave him some fucking water. But you're going to shoot a 17-year-old who called you, a 16-year-old who called you without uttering a command? That's my problem. Yeah. Then you got this other asshole. I'm sorry, guys, I'm cursing. Robert Aaron Long, who went through killing up a bunch of, and then what? They said he was having a bad day. He's white, 17 years old. He didn't wind up dead. All of them were white. Dylan, Kyle, 17. 17.
Yeah.
They didn't shoot them.
Right.
The guy that just shot up, supermarket. Oh, they wounded him. They shot him in the arm. Okay. Let that been a black. Well, the guy. Oh my God. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Can I chime in for a second, Heidi?
Yes, go ahead, because I got beyond myself. Hi, Debbie.
For Jamal and Heidi, I kind of always stick on the race thing because of a case. Of a story I seen when the officer stopped the lieutenant in the truck. That's when I looked at it okay, it's not about what position as a race you have. It's just the
color of your skin.
That's what I'm saying. And that's why, for us young black people, young brothers, Jamal, we want to understand, what's really happening, that we have to fear for our life when we walk down the street when officers are around. That's my question.
I definitely understand where you're coming from. And I will say part of it is media, and people may not want to hear this because it's easy to take a stance and go with the race thing because it's what we see all the time. But we know there are other races that go through the same things. Ours are more publicized.
Yeah.
Now where I was born and raised, it's interesting because I think I've told Debbie this, we feel like we grew up in a bubble because we grew up with so many races, ethnicities, all this stuff. And we would literally wave at the police officers. So I never really had a fear of the police officers. I would see them on the street. Even to this day, I still wave at them hey, what's up? And they wave back and they smile. So to hear what's going on out in the community is alarming to me. And I'm going to say this.
Yes.
When someone is behaving irrationally, when I say irrationally, I mean they're scared and they try to run away. Just because they make a wrong choice does not mean they should lose their life. I am so sorry. When you pull over a vehicle, there's typically two police officers. I'm sure one of you is writing down the license plate number at
Yes.
minimum. At minimum. So there's no reason if they drive off that you need to drive after them and shooting. All you have to do is run their plates, get their get their information, and then show up to their house the next day. No one should lose their life over a mistake. That's ridiculous. It's uncalled for. I just have no words because what was that case recently? Was it the Duante Wright case where he tried to run away?
Duante Wright, when he had the expired registration.
Yes.
Okay.
With the taser and the gun.
Yes. So
Yeah.
there was no reason. Y'all did just pick him up. He really does not. He doesn't have anywhere else to go. He's super young. I mean, like, where could he go?
And did you hear his mother said he sounded scared when he called her for the insurance information? Did you hear that?
Yes.
Today was his funeral.
Yes, I did.
And bring that up. Today was his funeral.
Rest in peace.
Courtney Rose, who was George Floyd's girlfriend, worked at a school that Duante Wright went to. She knew this young man. His family invited her to the funeral. 6 degrees of separation. Isn't that some stuff? Courtney was at the funeral today. She knew this young man.
I think, and I want to go back to the hiring process. And I am just so you are aware, I'm a person who doesn't look at the problem in the middle. I look at it from the beginning. So we start with the hiring process. They need to do better about psych evaluations.
Yes.
Yep. Yes.
That should be number one priority. Are these people capable? And it can't just be like, oh, are they sane? It comes down more like, how do you do under stress? How do you do under pressure? How does your mind function? Do you think clearly under stress? Things of that nature, because those are very important if you are going to be protecting the people with weapons and have access to weapons. And I really think that's overlooked. They look at the physical and the intelligence. That's all well and good. You have intelligent people who can be under stress and just lose all their mind. And I think this is what we're seeing. People are under stress and they're just making very, very fatal wrong decisions. And no one's looking at that at all. I have not heard one outlet say hey, what are the police departments? What does your psych eval look like? Is it like a standard, fill in the C bubble? Are there actually in-depth questions? What kind of questions are you asking? Are you running through simulations of stress? That's a big indicator. Run a simulation, see how they do.
Yep. So now the DOJ, Department of Justice, they're running, they're doing a full-fledged investigation on the Minneapolis Police Department. They're going to go through everything, looking at the training manuals, look at things. My thing is, why does it take something like this to happen when you want to go in and look at it? This is something just like you had a regular job. Your process and procedures are checked every year to see if they need to be upgraded, to see what changes need to be made. Why isn't this done? Especially for a police department or someone that you're supposed to protect and serve. You've got a gun on your hand. Think about it. And these are not veteran officers. These are not rookies. Now, one of them is a rookie. Everybody else, they're veterans.
I have a question for
you
both.
They've been on this job for a long time.
I have a question for you both. And I know what the analogy I'm going to use is a control situation. So do either of you watch SVU?
I cannot watch SVU anymore because I get pissed because damn well they don't solve a case like that. And not everybody. Right. I like to watch real stuff. I like to see real courtroom drama. I can't watch that anymore. Blue
blood stuff like that. The reason why I say is that because these shows are based on real life crimes, proper procedure. Okay. And like I said, I know this is control. What I'm saying is when you watch these shows, they tell you the proper procedure. And
Yep.
from what I've seen in these shows, the officers, when they have to fire their weapons, they fire to disarm and to like wound first. They never shoot to kill unless they absolutely have to.
But that's not true. They're trained to shoot center mass.
Oh.
They are trained to
Wow.
shoot center mass. My son told me that today. He said, let's say you got somebody on drugs and you shoot him in the leg or the arm. They're super strength. They're superhuman strength. I said, we're talking about a 17-year-old girl. He says, Ma, I get what you're saying. He said, but we are trained to shoot center mass, the upper part of the body.
Got it. So that's a good piece of information that I need to know. So that makes me change my thought process that that part of the training needs to change.
That's what I'm Jamal.
But then you need to use your better judgment on the whole situation. You need to take into account what's going on. You saw the officer get there. You saw him. The first thing he had his gun. The guy was kicking the other girl in the head on the ground. They didn't pay him any attention because he was just there. And I'm serious. Look at the question that Melanie just asked you, Jamal, please.
Yeah, can somebody read it? I want to.
Sure. Jamal, it says, Jamal, don't you think too many white people have racial blind spots? They pass a psych eval as well. Yeah, I would say that is a definite problem, and I could definitely see that because you could pass a psych eval, but I think a better psych eval would weed some people out. But then to Heidi's point is that you can tell by conversations. Like, once they're on the force, you should be always scrutinized. At least most jobs I know, even if you're working for a while, you're still scrutinized. So with your reviews, for example, Heidi, if you hear a cop say some things over a year's time, and you should be logging them. That should tell you then and there, like, this person's not a right fit. So yeah, they can pass. I agree with Dr. Melanie about the blind spots. But then if you have a good leader, he or she should be able to pick up on those things fairly quickly, and you get them out as soon as possible.
Can I ask you a question, Jamal?
Sure.
Do you think that there's any officers on the force that deal with mental health illness?
Yes.
Yes. I mean, I'm sorry, and I know this may sound kind of rude, but I don't think you could have that kind of job and not either have mental health issues or develop them. And if I were a police officer, I would, if I were a squad leader, I'll just use that, I would really suggest that everyone on my team or force has sees a therapist a minimum. When I say minimum, I mean bare minimum once a month.
Because the reason why I asked you that, Jamal, is because why would they have anybody on the force with any psychiatric problems or mental health illness with a gun in their hand? Because somebody.
But they don't know. Okay, here's what I'm saying. You don't know until something else happens. You know how when they're involved in an officer, with an officer shooting, they have to detect the gun. They got to go they got to go talk to. You remember Lethal Weapon? You know how they kept sending Riggs to go see the psychologist.
Bruce Willis.
Yeah, no, Riggs, Lethal Weapon.
Oh, now I remember. Okay, I had to remember again, Heidi. Now I remember. That's a little before my time.
Okay, I'm just saying. They don't do that. And they do have department psychiatrists that I can tell you, I know for a fact, they have several department psychiatrists. The only time you go and visit these psychiatrists, and I think they should be held responsible, is when there's an officer involved shooting. It's not a man. I think they all should have a psych evaluation, like any job. Like you work in a chemical plant with a lot of noise. Every year, you got to get a hearing test. You got to get this checked. You got to get your physical. You got to get this done. They do not do this. They don't do it.
I agree. Because that's a serious question. So what happened, in my opinion, like I said, you could either go into them, they're underlying, or you could go in with them there, but they're just not, they haven't manifested yet. So if you take an officer who has underlying mental health issues, they can go through a traumatic experience,
Yep.
which can unlock those like issues and just really be detrimental. Which is why I honestly feel like I agree with Heidi. They should have some sort of mental health checkup every month. I'm sorry. They deal with
I
so
agree.
much. They see so much. I mean, you cannot develop these issues. I just don't see how it's possible. I mean, because I feel like if you see your fellow officer shot, I mean, they may not die, they may live. That's still traumatic.
I understand. I
Okay, like
agree with
Gina
you.
Massey. Look, I want you guys to see this. So when I tell you that my sister, my nephew, has been diagnosed, and my niece, of course, she was an in-law, but my nephew, my sister's son, has
Yeah.
been diagnosed as bipolar schizophrenic. When he has an episode, if my sister has to call, the first thing she tells them is, I want a mental health officer. If you don't have one, don't send anyone to my house. Before she even lets them near her son, she lets them know. But when the ambulance gets there, she'll let them know. You're not going to take your guns out. You're not going to shoot my son. This is my sister. She will not let them near him. Then when the officer, when an ambulance pulls up, because if she wants him to go, he doesn't want to go. He's not taking his medicine. She calls the cops. But she gets a mental health officer. And what happened was, the officer that normally shows up, he has given my sister his number to call him personally if there's not an officer available. So if he's off duty, he's coming.
Hi, I have a question for you, and Sincere, you please chime in as well. Do you? I mean, we keep looking at the officers, and I agree they are definitely
Wait a minute,
culpable.
Sincere, I need you to turn your whatever noise is that. I need you to turn it down, sweetie, please. Okay, Jamal, please.
They're definitely culpable, but do you think that part of the problem as well is the officers and the department team have a lack of resources? Because what I'm seeing in some of these articles is like, well, why don't you have enough mental health police officers? Like, why aren't you putting funding and resources into that? You know what I mean? Help your officers out, help the community out, because there's no reason we should be lacking in these type of resources, especially in the climate we're in. I think this would be a huge help.
I agree with you. It's a lack of resources, but then again, you get this money every year from the government, from the federal government, right? Mm-hmm. You have budgets. You have all these little buckets you need to put stuff into, right? Mm-hmm. What are you more concerned about? The schools are trying to get money, like right now with the pandemic, they were trying to get these kids back in school because they needed that federal money. Okay. You have federal money for infrastructure. They're not looking at what's needed. They're not looking at the training that these officers need. That's why some of these officers are involved in all kind of illegal shit. But because there's no, as they say, big brother watching you. You got these officers that have been on the force for years that know what they can get away with. You got these same officers training these young rookies who see what they're doing.
Right.
They're going to do it.
Oh, most definitely. They're like, oh, they did it.
I don't
think
the officer needs to be put out on the street for at least until he's had at least 1 to 2 years of riding around or with different divisions. I don't think you need to graduate, give him a gun, and put him out there for on-the-job training at all. Not at all.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I think Melanie has a great comment.
Which one is it? I was trying to find it. I can't find it.
It says, it's the one I see. It says Jamal. That's the whole defund the police argument.
Yep, that's the whole defund the police argument. And my daughter-in-law in Chicago, my ex-daughter-in-law, she's with Oak Park, and they're doing this defund the police thing, and they're looking at all kind of stuff. It's hashtag defund the police, but they're looking at different training because the money that's going to the departments are not being used the way it's not being utilized the proper way. You're looking at everything else. Okay, so you give them these new body cams. You're giving them this to hold them up. That's not deterring them from doing things.
Exactly. I'm more the way I look at it, I'm not looking to defund the police. I want to give them more resources, but what I'm seeing and what I'm understanding, there's no real financial oversight.
Nope.
I think that's another problem. There's no financial oversight. oversight, because if you're getting money, you should be spending it wisely. But when you're giving the money to quote unquote alleged crooks, then what do you expect?
Yes.
And everybody's saying, that I'm gonna tell you, there are a lot of good officers out here. A lot of good officers. I am telling you, a lot of them. But then it just takes that one rotten apple. One. Right here in Houston, I think Gina knows, an officer, a long-standing officer, 20-something years. He was just arrested on bribery, and he was involved with the cartel, everything.
Mm-hmm.
But you know why he got caught? Because somebody else told on him that didn't get that cut. So it's been going on for a while.
There's crooks. There's crooks in the
all politicians, I do believe, is crooked, and I'm serious.
Yep.
I think they're all crooked. They're all out. They do a little bit, but I'm talking about these cops that are out here. What happened to the officers that would come to the school and talk to the kids? What happened to those officers that are stopped if you're broken down on side the road? They just fly right by you.
I think, Heidi, that it's a fear right now. I think it's all about fear. That's the main thing, right, Jamal? Is it fear?
I'm going to say that I think what's happened is that we haven't come as far as people really want to make it out to be. Let's just be honest.
Yes, sir.
We're not as far along as we should be in 2021. People still have the fear of other races, other ethnicities. It's like, okay, that's not necessary. Cause I agree with Heidi when she said, like, you have the Caucasian officer, white officer approaching African American black person in their car. So on one hand, you have the officer who's supposed to protect you, who's scared of the citizen because of their ethnicity, so they're on the defensive, and then you have the civilian who's supposed to believe in and be like, feel comfortable around the officer who's meant to protect them. So, and they're scared, they're on the defensive because they feel that the officer doesn't like them due to their race. So you have two people who have the same fear. It's just one has a weapon and one doesn't.
I get it. I do agree with that. That is so true, brother.
I'm serious. So, okay, Jamal, let's look at, I mean, I don't mean just Jamal. I'm talking to you too, Sincere.
Yes.
These killings of these young black men, black women. Everybody knows the story about Breonna Taylor. Everybody knows that story. Nothing was done. Officers weren't charged. So they said that they're revamping. So the no-knock warrant. You tried to charge her boyfriend, her fiance, with attempted murder because he shot back at the cops who he thought was breaking in his house.
Yes.
How does that make sense? Now this young girl that was killed, they're trying to charge one of the girls with murder. That girl didn't shoot. That other girl didn't shoot Micaiah. The cop did.
That's what I'm saying, Heidi and Jamal. How is all these stuff being justified? Can y'all answer that question for me?
I can say this. It's the way the laws are written, and some of them are antiquated, and you have to how can I put this? The way I understand things, people pick and choose when they want to be hard and fast versus use common sense. Because I really feel in a lot of cases, people will use the law straight and fast when it suits them. Whereas in other cases, like, well, I'm going to use my quote unquote better judgment.
Yes,
it's kind of like
it's
kind of like religion to a degree, where people will cherry pick certain passages that suit their needs, but then ignore the context around them. I feel people do that with the law. They'll say that, okay, so this this cop did this, like, the cop shot at him, but the other guy shot back at the cop, so that guy tried to kill the cop. So that's attempted murder. I'm like, well,
Whoa.
Okay,
I
but
didn't
okay.
understand it.
So a cop shoots at someone, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But then the person returns fire. Their saying is the guy tried to shoot, kill the cop. Okay, if we're going to use that analogy, hold on. The cop shot at the guy first, which triggered this guy's reaction, which would be self-defense. Don't leave out the cause when you're discussing the effect. That's what I'm trying to say.
Exactly. Cause and
I get that.
effect.
I get that.
Exactly, Jamal.
I was trying to get there. I was like, I'm like, okay, let me go here. Yeah, so it's the cause and effect.
Cause and effect.
Yeah.
So Jamal, when will it be a change?
Not anytime soon. Seriously.
I can't see anytime soon until we start demanding these changes by one, like, some places actually vote on their sheriffs and their
Yes.
police commissioners. Vote these people out. Vote these people out. And then there needs to be, in my opinion,
There you go.
there needs to be more stricter reviews, because how you and one of the cases struck me, and I want to say it's the Detroit guy with all of the behavioral issues.
Yes.
He got to keep his job and retire.
Yes.
Based on the article, if I recall, there was like 7 instances of bad behavior, but
7.
I'm like, how did he keep his job? Like, where were his reviews at? Like, how were his reviews keeping him on his job with all these issues? And then he got to retire at full pension.
They need bodies to fill. They have a quota to fill. Honestly, look it up. They have a quota to fill. They need bodies in uniforms. That's how they get the government money.
Yep.
It's not about training and I'm telling you, as any profession, you have, I'm serious, you have cops that join the force to do good, and you have cops that, like any job, some people go to work to do a great job. Some people just go to work to collect a paycheck. That's it. No difference, except for they carrying a badge and a gun.
I definitely see that.
I'm serious. If you look at, okay, so you had so what's his name? Willie McCoy. He was a young rapper. This happened in California, Jamal.
Vallejo,
young rapper, fell asleep in the driveway at a Taco Bell.
Yeah.
An employee called the cops. He was slumped over the steering wheel. Now he had a gun laying on his driver's seat. He woke up.
I remember the story.
Started scratching his chest. The cops thought he was, how in the hell you think he's reaching for a gun when his hand was scratching his chest? And what was it? Was it 55 shots fired? Killed this man.
6 officers.
55 shots fired.
And they said that they started shooting in 3 seconds.
Said the man was scratching. They all of them that fight. 55 shots fired.
But the killing part was one of the officers who had a shooting like the year before. That had shot at the other guy. He got fired after that because they found that he didn't do protocol as far as weapon safety. He was involved with the shooting of the guy that was going to the hotel room.
I remember that.
He was involved with this shooting. He didn't get fired. He was cleared. And then they turned around and fired him in 2020 because they said he violated department policy during the shooting by, engaging in unsafe handling or neglect of whatever it was. They didn't fire him till 2 years later. Yes, ma'am. I'm going to drop the link. Let me give you the link.
Link. Can I ask you a question, Jamal?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yes. I'm sorry.
This is for you, Heidi and Jamal.
No, I was telling Melanie. Yes.
No. I wanted to ask you a question, Heidi and Jamal. My thing is, as me being a young black brother, should I always have a fear that now that what's going on, in our country, that this is going to happen to me, or should I just pay it no mind?
I hate to say that, but no. I mean, seriously, it seems like even if you comply, It doesn't matter. They're looking for anything. And I hate to say it like that. I really, really do. Because
I
my
understand,
grandson,
Heidi.
you know, I got a grandson that just turned 18. He's graduating high school. Now, granted, he's not, and I'm going to tell you something that I've always told him. I said, don't let the color and the hair fool you. I said to them, you're a black man. Christopher is smart, intelligent. My nephew, and you guys can look him up. I think I told you this before. His name is Jelani Manigault. He was shot and killed by in New Jersey by Princeton Township cops. He had a panic attack. His mom didn't take him to a hospital. She took him to a Christian Science thing. She's an in-law. Took him to a Christian Science facility. He got upset, ran out in his socks, sweatpants, and an undershirt. We're talking November in New Jersey, snowing, everything. He hit a crabapple tree in his mother's car, ran out the car, banged on the people's door that was there, tried to cut himself. They called the police. By the time he walked out the house, they had taken a knife from him. They had already told the officer they took the knife from him. He tripped on the tree thing. They shot him in the top of his head and in his groin. I got that phone call and I'm saying he had just graduated from the University of Maryland. Jelani Manigault, this happened. And they have the Jelani tree. It's a memorial. Yes, his mother's a professor. She was a professor at NYU. His dad had a bunch of parking garages in Midtown Manhattan. You know what the news people do? They go to the neighborhood thinking they're going to find this drugged out black kid. No, big ass house, nice parents, professional parents. You couldn't find shit. Look up the court case. Carol Manigault, Andrew Manigault versus Princeton Township, New Jersey. Yeah.
That's what I'm kind of like confused with, like Jamal and Heidi. Are they just killing just our people, or are they really trying to just kill like what they were supposed to do, the criminals? That's what I'm more like confused on right now, Jamal.
I think there's a lot of shootings going on, but right now, like Jamal said, black African Americans, as they, black people are being at the forefront right now. Everything that's being reported is about black men, black women. I'm sure there's other shootings of whites and Hispanics and everything else. You're not hearing about all of these shootings.
Yes, I agree.
I'm going to answer your first question. So your first question was, should you be scared? I would not be scared. I would say be vigilant. I say be vigilant and understand. Have a good understanding of how the world sees you, and it will help you along your way. It's helped me along my way. I'll put it that way. And I agree. I think part of the problem is how you just touched on is that we hear about how many black people are being killed by police officers. I don't think there'll be real change until we see other races come out and say like, hey, like I was harassed. This happened to me too. This is what's really going on, because I'm just guessing, in my opinion, that other races, including white people as well, aren't saying because they probably know someone on the force or their families on the force. They don't want to cause any waves. Whereas black people, we've been quote unquote oppressed so long that we have to speak out. We've been put in a corner where we have no choice. I don't think the other races have gotten to the point where they feel they have no other choice.
And
since we have no other choice, I think others feel they can feel comfortable being like, oh, they're doing it, they'll speak for us.
Can I ask you a question, Jamal?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Heidi. Go ahead.
I just want to make a point. Kel's just put this up here, and we've talked about her family. I want to tell you, there's a lot of cops that are on the job that have never even pulled their gun in any incident except for at a shooting range. You have to look at the cops, and I'm actually looking at a compilation of that right now. You have to look at the cops that are involved in these officer-related shootings. You have to take a look at the mindset, take a look at their background. But it's the truth. There are more cops than the ones that have never ever had to fire their weapon. at a suspect.
Right.
It's this new generation, and I'm gonna say that. Yes, Dr. Melanie, welcome, baby. Yes, Sincere, what were you going to ask?
How you doing, Dr. Melanie? You all right today?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Hi, Dr. Melanie. Nice to meet you.
Hey, Jamal. Finally, nice to meet you too. Right. COVID to COVID.
Okay, Sincere, what were you going to ask, baby?
Oh, okay. The reason, and this is just my opinion on everybody on the panel. The reason why I say it's like focused on the one race is because, Heidi, I've showed you a video of other races getting killed, and they don't make it as headline as they make it with the black community. And why is that, Jamal? Why is it like so much of like the white officer killing the brother? I never understood that. Like,
they're trying to scare you, and they're trying to make a political statement.
Why is it like so divided?
Because it's how can I put this? It's more polarizing.
Okay.
Because, and I'm gonna say this with all respect.
Yes, sir.
I feel that America has always been black and white since slavery.
Okay.
Because
that's so true.
Because if you take a biracial child, yes, biracial is the correct term. We'll use black and white. Mixed child biracial.
I call them mutts, and these are my grandkids. But no, I'm sorry.
So biracial, right? Okay. Yes, a child is biracial, but in America,
yes,
if you have one drop of black blood in you, you are black.
Yep.
And that's just the way our country is. Unfortunately, you are black, and that's growing up. We would use the term biracial because we didn't want someone to feel like, oh, we're discounting one of your parents. Whereas other people will know, like, there's black. I'm like, yes, if you're going to say what the census calls you, you have to pick one, sure. Because I don't think mixed or biracial was on any forms until 10, 20 years ago. So
okay, yes, because when I was in school, seriously, my birth certificate read other. You know why? Black, Indian, French, German, and it said other. I didn't have my birth certificate changed until I was in 10th grade when I moved to Texas. 10th grade.
But I've heard so many black people. I'm sorry, I've just heard so many like biracial black, like actors, actresses say they're black. So I don't know what's correct. I mean, the first black president, I mean, he's biracial.
Yeah.
No one ever talked about, and he was raised by his white side. So what is correct?
So where I grew up, I really feel it's where you grew up. Where I grew up in schooling, we would use biracial just for the respect of both cultures.
That's what I would say, but I'm saying they themselves aren't saying that
because because
the way they look, the black is dominant.
Yeah,
Jamal,
it's the American way of looking at things.
But that's not true because my grandson and my grandchildren, most of everybody that knows me have seen pictures of my grandkids.
And that's true.
I have two granddaughters. One granddaughter is half India. Her mother's from India. My other granddaughter is half Japanese. My other granddaughter is from the Dominican, half Dominican. So when Jamal made a comment one day that cracked me up. He said, Heidi has the United Nations at her house. I have a half Hispanic granddaughter. I have a half Hispanic grandson. And I'm telling you, I have the United Nations. Me, myself, my family. We have white, black, Milano, Indian. We have always been a family of mixed races, period.
But do they look
Heidi?
More black, Heidi? Is my question.
No. Heidi?
Okay.
Heidi?
I think that's where it comes from because to me they are biracial, but when people themselves are saying I'm like Halle Berry always says she's black. She's not.
She's biracial, but she's black.
But she's biracial. But why
Dr. Melanie,
say she's black?
Dr. Melanie.
Yes.
Isn't that, and Heidi and Jamal, isn't that actually a good thing for you to be biracial because you get like both sides?
I would think you'd
An
want to
understanding,
acknowledge both
Jamal?
I
sides
think
of
so
your
because my
family.
grandkids speak Japanese. They
Yeah.
speak Spanish. They learn both language. My other daughter-in-law is from the Dominican Republic. She's taught her kids
Yep.
to speak their language. That's what I love. They travel
Yeah.
around the world. They learn a different language. My grandson that's here now, he speaks Japanese.
And I'm Jewish. My husband is Serbian Orthodox. And when people ask me, well, what are your kids? I'm
That's
like,
awesome.
They're half Jewish and half Serbian Orthodox. And they're like,
I think
well,
what it is.
do you
I think
celebrate?
what it
We
is.
celebrate
Sincere,
Hanukkah and Christmas.
Yep.
You know, sincere, to answer your question, I think
Yes.
I think it's a great thing, honestly.
Me too.
If both parents like really like
Right.
impress upon the importance of both
Yeah.
cultures.
Yep.
Yes, I agree.
I think that's
completely.
super important because like I said, I went to school with all different races. So, hey, like for me, I was around. My favorite memory, one of my favorites, I should say. I went to school with like quite a few Jewish children, and I went to their house one time. And the grandmother was hilarious. She had been through so much, and she was
we're
just
fun
a
people.
holler. She was a holler, and she loved to cook. So I
Yes.
like locked us for the first time, and
Oh,
like I learned like
Jamal,
about
you gotta come
Jewish
over.
culture, stuff like that. So you learn things, and if the parents can hold on to their own culture and pass it down to their children, and explain like one culture is not better than the other, then you
Well,
get the best of both worlds, and it's phenomenal.
Can I
Yes.
just say one? This is really, because I can't keep my big mouth shut. I just got home from work, and
Speak
even
your
such,
mind.
this was like, you're not going to be able to stay off. I'm like, yeah, I'll be okay. And then, of course, I wasn't. This is one thing I wanted to say one thing, one comment, and then one quick thing that I think is important. Little tiny story, and then I'm getting out of here. But when I saw the video of what was her name, Khia? Is that
Khia? Yes.
Khia,
Yes.
right?
I seen it too.
The first thing I thought was, where the F are her parents?
I don't know if her mother was at work.
I was wondering the same thing too.
No, her mother was home. She came out. You heard her on the tape right after and say, "You shot my baby."
I didn't know she was home. But these were grown women that came to fight a 17-year-old, 16-year-old girl.
There was a knife, Heidi.
I thought
there was a knife, guy.
All young, like her age. I don't know.
No, they said women. They said grown women. That's what they said.
What the?
And they're playing it right now on the TV.
Neither of my sons came home because people followed them home from school to fight them. They'd be in the house, the door would be chained locked, and I'd call the police from inside. Like,
I agree.
What was she doing? Because my point with that is, I think that not the key to stopping racism, but the key to like minimizing it more starts with parents.
Yep.
And because my husband and I are like my friend group is like the United Nations, like Benetton. And we were so open, and our neighbors right next door are best friend, like good best neighbors, our closest neighbors. They're Black, adore them, and they love their grandkids. And then they come over, they only want to play with them. And my son was telling me this story. He's in high school now. He was in like second grade, and for like a year he'd been talking about this friend of his, Asa. And he'd tell me stories about him and his class, because he was in his class when they just had the one class. And he'd say, me and Asa played baseball, whatever. And then he said something about Kwanzaa. And I said, how do you know about Kwanzaa? I had not taught him yet. He was very little, and he was still learning both of our cultures. And yeah, I mean, I've gone to church with, I love the Serbian culture, love Serbian food. He embraces mine. It's great. Like in 20 years, we've never had a fight over religion. I will say that. Not that we don't fight, but not over religion. Anyway, and I said to him, I said, is Asa Black? And he said, yeah. And in a year's time, my kid never mentioned his skin. I had no idea. Not that I certainly don't care. I loved it, but I feel, and I'm not here to pat myself on the back at all. But
Dr. Melanie, can I ask you a question?
Of course.
Do you think that that's the core and the problem of what's going on in the country right now, is that it's the parenting, and that's the mindset of what's really the issue at hand right now.
Well, no baby comes out of the womb racist. So
no, I agree with
it's,
that.
right? So I mean,
it's the teaching
somewhere.
and the atmosphere that they're around.
Right.
Do you think that, the reason why a lot of these, police brutality things are happening are because of like broken homes? You know what I'm saying?
I don't even know necessarily.
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Just racist homes.
I will say this.
Melanie,
go ahead, Heidi.
Hold on, sister Mel. Let me tell you this. You were talking about how your kids would come home and somebody tried to fight them.
Yeah.
What about the black guy and his family living in his basically predominantly white neighborhood? These guys came to fight his son who was in his house. He had to call the police. He had the cops. It was like 5 or 6 white guys that were out there. They were out there with bats. They were out there with guns. The guy went out there, told them to get off his property. They were charging at the man. He shot the young white guy. He went to jail, but they were on his property coming to attack his son. And these were his friends.
Yeah.
The daddy went to jail.
Who went to jail?
The daddy. For killing the young white guy, which is the guy that was coming charging at the daddy. He had a gun himself. The daddy shot him first and kept telling him, back up, get off my property. I'm going to shoot you. You're not going to shoot me, old man. You're not going to shoot me, old man. And he shot his ass. Excuse the French, but he did. He went to jail.
I'm not
he should have never approached
say there isn't police brutality against people of color or that there isn't racism at all. There is. And, someone once said, when other people think you're being treated unfairly, that's when you know you are. Okay, I'm telling you as a white woman, people of color being treated unfairly. I see it. It makes me sick. It's heartbreaking and disturbing. I have many friends. Oh God, I hate when people say that. But I do.
I have many white friends too that makes you feel better, Melanie. I have lots of white friends.
I know you do, tons. Okay, good. So you say it back. I mean, we're friends, I mean, I love you.
Dr. Melanie, any race you are, I like. It doesn't bother me.
That's
I know. But we're in the minority, obviously. But I just think that, I think there needs to be more that starts at home. Yeah. And I do think there needs to be, I don't know, someone I think said, I don't know. I think I said it and you were talking about, but I don't even think some of them realize they're racist until they come up on a black person.
Let me tell you what the funny part is. If I don't like you, it's not because of the color of your skin.
Yes.
If I don't like you, I don't like you. One of my best friends, she's Jack Dempsey's great-granddaughter. Her name is Tina. Well, she's Jack Dempsey's great-granddaughter. I've known her since high school. I used to go to her house all the time, go spend the weekends at her house. And, so she's married now. So when I went to her house, when I came for a visit, when I was on the East Coast, I came and I called her. I went to her house, and she's married to this redneck, and I'm going to say it because that's what he is. I go to the house, and he goes, God damn, I thought Heidi was a white girl. And I said, and I thought the man with Bubba would be a big fat black guy. I said, so what now? And that's what he and I do to each other. Whenever he sees me, he was like, oh no, not you again. I said, yep, get your redneck ass off the sofa, go do something. But that's the way we talk to each other. And he'll tell me, he would say, all right, little black gal. I said, okay, little redneck white boy. And that's what I say to him. Because that's the way we talk to each other.
But are you joking around with each other?
No, but he's really a redneck. I'm serious. But he loves me. He doesn't really care. And I'm telling you right now, this man, and Tina says, I kept trying to warn you. I said, girl, I wasn't worried about your old stupid ass husband. And I don't, because he's ignorant. But since he's been around me, he comes around my family. He knows not to talk like that because he will get hurt.
Yeah, he will. Although he might send his jacket.
Yeah, he'll get hurt. But that's how silly he was. He did not like. And the fact when he found out that Tina used to date a black guy in high school, he flipped his lid.
Yeah.
But I think I will say this: as I've gotten older, I've realized there's a
If I cut off,
difference.
it's because my phone died. Sorry. Go on.
Okay,
No
baby.
worries. I learned there's a distinct difference between ignorance and racism.
Yep.
Oh yes.
Because I've met some people, I'm like, okay, and then I lightweight know them, like we're cool, and then they'll say some things, and I'll just be like, you're just so ignorant, like because I would not be cool with a racist person. I'm like, you just don't get it. I'm like, you just don't get it, and I pulled them aside, a couple of them, like, look, let me just let you know, I know who you are, I know your heart. But other people who don't know you aren't going to take kindly to that speech. So, and they're like, what do you mean? I really have to sit down and explain, like, this is why this is inappropriate. And they'll be like, they'll be like, I just had no clue. I'm like, I understand that because you know what? I'm probably your second black friend. And so I completely understand. I get it. But that I feel that is my job, if I'm going to say I'm a friend, to educate you of like why some of your speech is inappropriate.
Yes.
I told Susie my ex-husband is white, and he used to be. I can't think of the group, but it was like a skinhead. Seriously,
but I can't picture that.
He fell in love with this black woman, and I'm serious. He was a skinhead, and I remember when we had the boat in Virginia Beach, and I would lay out on the boat, and I would tan. I told you I used to be a lot lighter. He told me I married a black woman, but I don't really want a black woman. I said, boy, you don't go sit your white ass down somewhere. When I tell you he was really fair, he was a redhead. I'll send you a picture. I sent Susie a picture.
Right.
That is my ex-husband. And to this day, we laugh and talk. His mother, his father, they love my sons. And his mom came from my youngest son graduation from high school. I love that family. But you know, you don't know about somebody until you talk to them. Just because they appear one way, and you have to get to know people.
I agree.
You have to get to know people.
Do you want to go?
Unless I have a conversation with you and you show me who you are.
Right. I do want to address Debbie's comment because I found it interesting. She said there are pros and cons to being biracial. I'm like,
I explain it.
And I thought, my thought process is this. So for me, I only see the pros. Do we only see the cons from someone pointing out quote unquote flaws?
Yep.
I did. I told you, Jamal, I saw it when I was in school. I didn't fit anywhere. I think I told you this was last week sometime. I didn't fit anywhere. Okay. So my sisters are all darker. My brother is a little darker than I am, but I was really, really pale. And I tell you, it was hard when you have people calling you little white girl, or
that's awful.
Because of the hair. I was called all kinds of names. People, and when I got older, they were calling me red bone and yellow bone. I didn't like it because I identify as black, but I had black people calling me little white girl. Oh, your daddy must be white. All right. So I used to cry. My mother pulled out a picture of my dad's mom, who was, paler than pale. And she was a black woman, beautiful, long black hair. I felt shunned. And I tell people don't understand. My sister next to me couldn't stand me because of the color of my skin, because she thought I got away with a lot of things. But I was always jealous of my sister because of the color of her skin.
Was more like your parents?
My mother's I'm about my mother's color right now. But I'm telling you, I've gotten darker. I'm about my mother's color now, and my dad has this dirty red coloring to him. So I'm telling you, I felt lost. And my uncle till this day tells everybody how he used to tease me about my daddy being the white guy that worked at the grocery store. And they did. I would cry all the time.
I would cry. That's horrible.
So yes, so I understand. When my grandson told me one day that he was really what did he say his color was? Chris told me he wasn't cinnamon, he was something. I said, little boy, you are black. I said, don't, and I always tell him, don't let the color fool you. You are a black. Your dad, my sons are mixed too, but their dad is black. His mom is white. His dad's black, but so he's black. So
I was just going to bring this up, but I didn't know if I should. But now that I see her commenting.
Uh-oh. Did we lose Dr. Melanie?
But she said her phone might die, but she's there.
Oh, I thought she was talking.
Here. I was just going to say one. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
I just want to say one last thing. And I was going to say, I thought of it, and I didn't know if I should say it, even though she said it on Heidi's channel. But I just saw she put up what was just up from Debbie H.
Yes.
She's biracial. Yes. Mm-hmm. And you could not, in a million years, Debbie, come up when I go down. I'm going to go, like, in a million years, you know, you can read what she wrote there. Like, you know, you don't, I would never think she had any black in her.
Yep.
You know, so, you know, but it just, it doesn't, like, I have a black friend where we joke and I'm like, I want to, because I'm very fair skinned, and I'm like, I want your tan, and she'll joke and she'll be like, you know, like when I had my kids, we've been friends forever. She's like, did your baby come out as translucent as you? Like,
oh my God.
No, but I laugh because I'm very fair skinned. I know it's not offensive to me, but like, and then
it's hurtful at times. It really is, especially when your own race is saying it to you. It's hurtful. And I grew up with that. And when I went to public school, it was hard because I was in a bubble.
Teasing you. That's nah.
You're right. Catholic school. I think bubbles. I will say this: going to school in bubbles. I always say, when I went to school from kindergarten through high school, I didn't go to my city's high school. I went to a different city's high school than all like lower grades. I went to all Berkeley schools. So
you're from Iowa, Jamal?
No, I'm from California. I'm born and raised in Oakland, California. So I went to all Berkeley schools. So
gotcha.
Berkeley at the time was a little bubble, but that's where all the melting pot races. That's how you got to know everyone. And I went to school with a girl all through school, and like how you described, she was very fair. She had it was odd. She had like auburnish red hair, and she had like
that's my hair, red and brown,
and she had freckles. And she was biracial. I knew she was, and people would just pick on her, and I was like, you know what, y'all need to stop.
So mean.
Stop. It doesn't matter. Kids are cool. Mean. We all know that.
They are. I mean, any type of bullying is hurtful and sad. And kids are mean.
After one day, like she came crying to me. I told her, like, you have to understand this is the hand you were dealt. You're a stunning girl. People pretty much are jealous if they're teasing you without knowing you, and you have to understand this. This will be the rest of your life. It's always harder to stand out than it is to fit in. So if someone's teasing you because you don't fit in, take it as a compliment.
Yes.
And you use it to your advantage.
But you know what, Jamal? That's
gonna be a good dad, Jamal.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Sure.
Hi, Heidi, Jamal, and Dr. Melanie. My thing is I look at it like you actually have like the upper hand when you're biracial because you got both sides. That's why I don't understand when people say the only thing is you don't get acceptance from both sides.
No, you don't, because you have people don't think it's a thing. You have dark skin.
Yeah.
Like I'm serious. It's a thing. So if I'm serious, y'all don't get it. I went to school. It was like I was in a bubble for a while, and then it's like when you're not in that bubble anymore, you know, you go visit, and it's like, oh, you know, that old red ass or that old white ass or whatever. These are dark. So, you know, and then it's like you see my sisters, and then you see my cousins, which, you know, some of my cousins are light with the reddish brown hair. My niece is damn near white with freckles. My sister-in-laws are all, Eileen had blonde hair. Carol had blondish red hair, but their dad's black, their mom's. So it's a mixture. And they understood how I felt because I talked to them about it for the longest. And like I told Kels and KK, when I went to Boston, and I'm not saying all Bostonians are racist,
That's okay.
It was a difference the way they treated me than the darker people that were with me. That was a big difference.
I have a question for you.
So who did you give? Go ahead, Jamal, and I'll ask
this is a
my
question for Heidi and for Debbie. She wants to respond. And Sincere, this goes to your question.
Yes.
I think what it is, correct me if I'm wrong. When you're biracial, we'll just use black and white. Colorism and racism hits you so much harder because you're catching it from all sides.
All sides.
I do agree with that.
So it's not the blessing people you think it is, because like you just are like in the middle somewhere, and the only people who can really relate to you are the people who are like in the same boat as you, which is it's difficult. I've seen it. It's terrible.
But we can empathize. Like I can empathize. You know, of course.
Never coon ass, and that's what they call us, coon asses in Louisiana.
I mean,
that's why Jamal, Heidi, and Dr. Melanie. That's why I always was interested in the biracial, because I never understood where they say it's difficult. I always would have looked at it like, dag, is racism.
Right.
So I can actually be cool with the white people. I can actually be cool with the black people. Like I can see actually
I think
both
this
sides.
whole panel is like, if we said like, can someone racist come up? No one's coming up.
Right.
Yeah. Jamal, you get where I'm coming from, Jamal?
Yes. Now I'm going to add to what I said, because you also have to realize sometimes, in some cases, and it's sad that sometimes when people marry someone of a different race, one or both sides of the family shun one or both parents. So you're kind of alone.
Yeah.
You know?
Not even race, religion. You know what? My mom was great. I had a single mom, but you know how much crap I got from the Jews?
Oh,
I was destroying.
Dr. Melanie,
I asked you that too.
Dr. Melanie. Oh my goodness. Like I said, I went to school with quite a few Jewish families, and I remember this one Jewish mother. She would tell her son, like, she goes, you know what? I'm really glad like you're making friends of all races. This is fantastic. This is the way we want you raised. But understand this: you're marrying a nice Jewish girl.
I mean, and I'm not gonna lie, I have friends that say it. My husband makes a joke, and he's like, "Yeah, I burned you all. I did what your parents wanted you to do. I married a Jewish doctor."
No, but you know how hard it is when people keep asking you to feel your hair.
Mm-hmm.
Who says that?
You know how hard it is when they want to feel my hair, and I'm like,
do they actually ask that?
Oh, yes. Oh my God! Can I cut your hair? They used to think my hair was a weave. I'm so serious. So,
oh my God!
I was telling. I think it was either they noticed when I get a haircut. They used to ask me, "Oh my God, do you dye your hair?" No, my hair is reddish brown. Don't dye my hair. No, I don't have any naps. I don't have any.
Leave me alone.
I am so serious. Right? They want to feel my hair to see if it's really my hair.
Yes.
Because they're used to black women with coarse hair. And I'm serious. This is how, and it pisses me off. So even my sisters go. So when we go and my mother's hair.
Who does that, Dr. Melanie?
Yeah,
I'm serious. My mother's hair is fine. My grandmother's hair, my other sister's hair. And it's the same thing. When I walk, my hair bounces. And it's like, oh my God, is that really your hair? Yes, that's my hair. It's my hair. It's my hair. And to this day, they still ask me. This one chick at work last year. Oh my God, it looks so soft. I'm thinking, I said, feel the roots too. I said, feel the roots. It's not a wig. And so they don't ask anymore.
Well, people have asked me who did my nose. I don't have a nose job. I swear
Wait a minute,
whoa.
Dr. Melanie,
who did my nose?
No, someone didn't ask you that.
So I just say God.
Someone actually asked you that?
God did my nose.
Wow. Does it look like you had surgery or something?
I'm sorry. People are still.
I'm supposed to have a huge nose. And it's like I swear to God. I swear on my children. I swear to God.
Who does that? That's why I'm confused, Heidi and Jamal. Like,
you will be surprised. Seriously, you will be surprised. I have been in the professional field for over 30 years, and it's not just other races. It's your own race.
Yeah.
No, these are other Jews. Yes.
Oh, these are other Jews. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
Yeah. I live in a very Jewish area. This is where I grew up.
I remember the Jews in New York when I used to live up there. Dr. Melanie, they're tight-knit families.
We're very, very close families. Our mothers do. There are many correct stereotypes, and I know the stereotype of Jews with big nose. I know it. The Jewish body. I know all the stereotypes. I know, but and we're all millionaires apparently, which would be nice. And but that one to me, I'm just in relation to what Heidi's saying, like. It didn't hurt me in a way. I felt they're so foolish because I didn't have Heidi didn't have her hair straightened or chemically whatever. So I would, when they'd say, if they asked me, I would say, "Who did my nose scatter? Did you have your nose done?" I'd say, "Yes, by God." But. It's sad, but this is such a nice panel. We're probably boring everyone, and I feel like
It's okay.
The whole
You're not boring.
conversation.
You're not boring me.
It still amazes me the things people say.
All right,
Go
well,
ahead,
next Passover, everyone in my house.
Oh yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
I'm coming to Michigan. Look, I'm coming to see you soon. Oh, and Melanie and I will be going to Louisiana together too. She's coming.
I want to go to New Orleans so bad.
She's coming. I'm taking her to show her New Orleans.
Heidi.
Yes.
Heidi, are you guys going around like Mardi Gras? Because I want to go down and have a good old time.
Mardi Gras over. Mardi Gras over this year.
Well, I want to go to Louisiana and have a good old time, man.
All right, when we go, we should all
okay, well, there. Melanie, when I come back, I'll be going down for Essence. Essence is the week. The weekend starts the weekend when I come back from my vacation. So I'm going down for Essence.
Okay, you're allowed to without me for that. My kids, baseball, they're so busy. All right,
I'm going home for Essence. Yes, I'm going
Debbie
home.
Should come up. She has a lot of intelligence.
I am. I'm coming. I'm definitely coming. I told you I'm coming.
You're coming. I've got a little guest room with your own bathroom and closet. My kids will adore
I'm not worried about it. I just want some lox and bagels.
You. I will feed you can't move.
Honestly, Heidi, I want to do something with me, you, Jamal, and Dr. Melanie. Just have a good old time and just go out and do something.
Yeah,
because of this pandemic.
We're all going to get together soon. We're all going to plan on. I know me, Kels, and KK, and Holly. We were all talking about it not too long ago. We need to get together. We need to go have some fun, do something. But I will be going to Essence with my sister. When we get back, Essence kicks off that weekend. I haven't been to Essence in a year because last year was canceled. The Jazz Festival was canceled. So Mardi Gras was canceled this year, which I did get Mardi Gras last year. So, this is what I do. I go to Jazz, I go to Essence. The Oyster Fest that normally happens in San Antonio in April, they didn't do it this year because still COVID's bad. Yeah. They canceled it last year. So we all get together. The last Oyster Fest, it was like 30 of us there in San Antonio, and we had a blast. So we just get together and do things. We meet and have a good time.
Yes, because I just said that because you're truly my friend, Heidi. I enjoy this panel, and I like what I do. It really is. I enjoy it, Jamal.
No, I'm glad that you enjoy it.
Watch Jamal and Debbie's channel too. They're great.
I just told him about that today. I told him he needs to go to Jamal and Debbie's channel.
Yeah.
And thank you, Jamal, for just taking time out of your day to do this, man.
I'm leaving. I love you guys.
I love you too. But I want to see you
tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Bye, Melanie. I'll see you tomorrow. But Jamal, and sincere. Thank you, Melanie. I just want to go over these. We have Andrew Brown, 42, who was just killed on April 21st. They went to serve a warrant. He was shot and killed. This is just, it's sad. He had misdemeanor charges, and he did have a possession conviction. He was shot and killed the same day McCoy was shot. Well, McCoy was shot the day before. Duante Wright, 20, killed, expired tags. We have so many of these unnecessary shootings over dumb shit. And that's what I want to get across. And I know there are other races that are being, that are being killed and shot by the police or chokehold. Elton Sterling, which I told you guys before, he's a distant relative of mine, killed in Baton Rouge. I mean, gun put to his head, shot close range. If you go look at the thing, you'll see my nephew is on the news, Danny Davis. They interviewed him. So I'm telling you, this is just, it's a nightmare. It has to stop. Now, when Elton was killed and right after Eric Garner, all the cops were being killed. And if you notice, they weren't killing just white cops. They were killing anybody in a blue uniform.
I remember that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do remember that.
Anybody in a blue uniform. It didn't matter. You know, when a sniper was running rampant in D.C. and Maryland, when they told me he was in Silver Spring, not the fact about Silver Spring, but the area he was in Silver Spring, I said, oh, no, that can't be a white guy. I said, because his ass would have been killed in Silver Spring. I knew then it was a black guy.
Yeah.
Because of the area he was in. I said, there is no white guy going to be going up in that area shooting. Not at all.
And you see what I mean, Heidi? You have some of these parents that train their kids to be killers. He trained his son to be a killer, Jamal. Remember that?
Yeah.
I do recall that.
Also,
I
want to discuss this Raymond Childs thing too, which I'm going to do that on another one. Raymond Childs III. This is a young 17-year-old black boy that killed his entire damn family.
Yeah. I remember that story. I was looking at it.
And he's being charged. This was in January, the beginning of the year. He's being charged with 6 counts of murder and 1 first degree and 1 count of attempted murder because he tried to kill his other brother, but he survived.
That's what I'm saying, Heidi and Jamal. It's like, since this pandemic came upon us, it seems like so much violence has came around.
It's not just the pandemic. This has been going on. I pulled these stats from 2015.
Yeah.
I added the other 5 that just happened recently.
Yeah.
That's 140. And I'm telling you, this has to stop.
I think
I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
For both of you, actually. So you went back to 2015.
Yes.
Do we think this is the culmination of the last presidential regime's brashness and their views?
Yes, I do. And I hate to say it, but yes, I do. Because you remember what his speeches were. Shoot them dead. Shoot them all. Shoot. He said this as he was campaigning. The cops should have carte blanche, should do what they want to do.
Okay. That's because I was thinking if we take it to the last regime, like people became emboldened under the last president's regime.
They did, and you saw, and I'm being honest. Think about it. You saw people's true colors. You saw their true feelings when this man was in office. Before they tried to hide it, when he took office, there was no hiding.
Yeah,
they felt emboldened.
I mean, you know, the Hispanic guy, the woman told him to go back to where he came from. The guy was out cutting somebody's yard, minding his business. She got out of her car and started attacking this Hispanic guy who was cutting grass.
Yep. I remember that.
In the park, that's where the word Karens came from. They were in the park calling the police because a black guy's jogging through the park. What about the black guy who was shot running through the neighborhood that he just moved into? Because they saw a black man running. Are you serious? At least they were all charged, but are you serious? You can't. My house is in a predominantly white neighborhood. I'm telling you, my house is in a predominantly white neighborhood right down the street. When my cousin came to live with me, my cousin Bryant is dark.
Yeah.
The cops stopped. Bryant was in the front yard. They stopped in the street to ask him where does he live. And I'm in the kitchen. Then I happen to look and I saw a cop in front of the house because I had the windows open and I'm watching and I'm just looking. And they're asking Bryant, where does he live? And he's pointing at the house. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? So then I go to the front door. I said, what's the problem? He goes, well, we were asking him, where does he live? I said, why? Is he doing anything? Well, ma'am, I said, no, you were being nosy because he's dark. I said, he lives right here. I said, get the fucker in front of my house. Seriously, because he was dark in that neighborhood.
And
now,
that's
my
what
son coming out. Nathan's tall, light skinned. Brian's tall, light skinned. Marcus tall, light skinned. They saw that dark skinned black boy outside and wanted to know where does he live.
Yeah.
And what was he doing? He was in the front yard. Matter of fact, he had a rake in his hand. He was raking the yard.
That's what I'm saying to you, Heidi. It's out of control when it comes to these situations. It needs to be a change for something to be better.
Right. This is why I said I think this is a culmination of the last regime.
If you think about it, and I'm gonna put Debbie's comment. I want y'all to look at it.
Yes.
When Ronald Reagan was in office, everybody loved Ronald Reagan. George Bush, they were presidents for the people. Although, they all crooks to me. If you listen to Trump's speeches, if you listen to the things he was saying, and you look at what was going on, it's just sad. You haven't heard any president speak ill. They may not agree with their policies. This guy is on TV the other day calling Joe. He said that he was a dysfunctional, said that he had Alzheimer's. It's time for him to be put out to pasture. This is what an ex-president was saying about a current president.
Right. But how do you remember? Sorry.
No, go ahead, Jamal. I'll talk.
Remember this. Remember this. When John McCain passed, he wanted Obama to give his eulogy, and all the McCains approved it. That says a lot when they approved that Obama gave McCain's eulogy, but Trump was banned. But Trump was banned from the funeral.
He was banned from the funeral,
and this is because
from Mrs. Bush's funeral, she did not want him there. It's sad. He was there for President Bush because that's protocol. But if you notice, he sat down. No one had anything to say to him. Then he said that he allowed McCain to have that funeral. You didn't allow shit. That is what that man deserved.
Yeah.
And that's the funny thing. People understand, like, you can disagree with some policies, political policies. Cool, fine, whatever. Obama and McCain didn't always get along, but they worked for the people behind the scenes.
Thank you.
And
they do work behind the scenes. I think both Obama and McCain said, like, well, basically, y'all don't need to know everything.
Yeah.
Because there were stories of Obama flying to McCain, or McCain flying to Obama at 2 a.m. having meetings, trying to get things done for the people. It was
mutual respect.
Yes.
Mutual respect. Look at it now. They went to the wire at the last minute when there was nothing else for them to do. And then what do? The Speaker of the House, which he knew he was losing that thing anyway. He jumped in and said, now it's time for him to give it up. It was time to give it up when you lost the election, but they kept feeding into it. And I hate when they say Trumpism. It's not Trump. It's people show their true colors. I said it. I called it. I said he's going to be in office for one. You know what? I don't want to talk about politics because it just gets me. I don't talk about politics and religion. I just don't do it. I won't do it.
Heidi.
Yes.
I don't like talking about politics either.
I'm serious. I don't, because it's not the fact that it's Republican. It's the man himself that showed no respect for no one. No respect. He had no respect for anyone.
I'll just say this, Heidi and Jamal. It showed me a big example of like what his movement was when the Capitol riots happened. When that happened, it showed me a lot.
I'm gonna say it again. If it was Black Lives Matter, if it was a bunch of black people storming the Capitol, they'd have been shooting all over the place. And I said it and I stand by it. Same thing they did when they were protesting. They're shooting rubber bullets. They're shooting them. They didn't do anything until that Capitol police officer got stomped. That's when they started working. They knew what was going to go on. They called the mayor of DC, called for the National Guard.
Yep.
They knew it. They knew in advance what was going to happen.
And that's crazy. And that's what I'm saying, Heidi and Jamal. I thought that when the Black Lives Matter movement came out, it was getting to be a change. Things was looking up, and then after the Black Lives Matter happened, Jamal, Heidi, boom, Capitol riots come out. So
but
it's
the thing
like,
is, though, change does not happen. We have to realize, like,
yes,
go back to the. Let's go back to Martin Luther King.
I was about to say, let's go back to Martin Luther King and see
Let's
how
go back
long
there.
it took for a change to happen.
So like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X time, right?
Yes. Go back to think about back then, those years, where we are now. To get this far, look at how long it took.
Look how long it took. Yep.
So just because we have one movement now, great. We're just at the start, and this is not to compare this to Martin Luther King, but in the scope, it's similar timing. We're just at the beginning, so we probably won't be around. At least me, we probably won't be around to see the real change, the next real big changes, until after we're gone. But at least we were here to see the start.
The start,
so
yes.
This is just where we are.
Because I kind of do, Heidi and Jamal. I do feel like it's gonna come to where it's gonna be a change, because things is just getting to be so bad with what's going on right now.
It is bad right now.
But let me put it this way again. But just like in Martin Luther King's day,
yes,
we as Black folk are at a point where we have no other options.
Yep.
So once we have no other options, this is when change tends to happen.
Yeah.
You know.
You're right.
And I think Debbie has some really good comments.
Yes, she does.
So
and I'm actually putting them all up there, her and Gina. And I like the fact you guys are here. I appreciate you guys being here.
You're welcome.
You know, this is, Sincere, Jamal, everybody in the chat. I mean, this is a conversation that people don't want to happen, that they don't want to talk about it, but they talk about it behind closed doors. You know, they don't. I just want people to be respectful. Everybody has their own feelings. Everybody has their feelings. Everybody can speak freely. I may not agree with something you say. Like, I tell people a lot of stuff about me growing up. I grew up in Louisiana. I grew up in a small town. I was in New Orleans. My mother's moved. So when I say I grew up in a bubble, I grew up in a bubble. It was a bubble. And then, you know, when schools started iterating, because at first the schools that I went to a Catholic school. Yes. I went to a Catholic school. So, you know, I had nuns, real nuns with habits, you know. So, and when Justin, my grandson, he's dark. He's got this pretty color to him. But Justin got upset because the girl he liked the light-skinned boy. And I told him, I said, baby, I said, wait till she gets older. I said, she's not going to go for light skin anymore. She's going to go for the darker brothers. Justin's not really dark, but he got a complex because of his color, because Kayla is really light and he has his mother's coloring. Yes. So I deal with this on a daily basis. Kayla was jealous of my other granddaughter because her hair is straight, and curly. You know, she has that straight, because she's half Indian. Kayla's hair is pretty, it's long, it's thick, but she wanted to have Dacia's hair. Yeah. I go through this within my own family. Mm-hmm. Chris has curly black hair. You know, so trust me, when I sit down and talk to my grandkids, and I tell them all, they all beautiful. I've sent so many pictures of my grandkids. Kel's seen them, KK's seen them. Susie, I mean, they're gorgeous. They are a gorgeous group. But, you know, I have two grandsons that are a little darker, you know, than the other sibling. So they got that complex. And then Nathan doesn't make it fun for his son. He was like, Justin, I don't know why you're so dark. He teasing him to get him out of that habit of feeling less than. So Nathan told him, he was like, man, come on now. So
I will say this though.
You know, it's just, you know.
I get you. Yeah. My thing is this, and my apologies for the generation behind me. When I say behind me, the generation who came after me. Yes. But some of y'all are a little bit soft because growing up, when I grew up, you were taught to be self-reliant. Yep. You were taught to be honest. You were taught to work hard. And you were taught not to be afraid to have an opinion and speak on it.
Yep.
Nowadays, everybody wants to be sensitive, like, and politically correct. I'm gonna need y'all to stop that because you're under the what I call the lemming effect, where those little creatures, the lemmings, where you know how, like every year they jump off a cliff.
Yes.
People
Now I know
people have
exactly where
that
you're at, Jamal.
people have that mentality. And they need to stop this, and I blame the parenting for parenting your children to expect something for doing nothing.
For doing,
Yep.
thank you. Right now, Justin's here. Justin takes the trash out. Even if he just takes it to the door and they pick it up, the trash goes out, new trash bag goes in. He cleans his bathroom when he's here. I mean, you earn everything I give you. I did it to his dad. I did it to my sons. I do it to all of them. You earn. You empty the dishwasher. Don't think because we go to the store, you're going to get something every time we go.
Yep.
It doesn't work like that. And I hate to see parents that do that. But Jamal, you said it. We were raised to be honest. That's one thing I'm going to tell you about my sons. Nathan cannot lie. Brian and Marcus can. When Nathan tries to lie, he starts laughing or he'll go, huh? What? What'd you say? What? I said, Nate, you hear me? Nate, huh? What? They can't, because same thing I tell my don't lie to me. Tell me the truth.
Yes.
No matter what, I'm going to be there for you. Do not lie to me. I don't like to be lied on. I don't like to be lied about, and I don't lie. I say it the way it is. Period.
Straightforward.
It's just, we were raised that way, though. It's just because you were taught honesty above all else, because one, lies always come out and you can't keep up with them. And it's, honestly, I'm going to be honest, I'm just too lazy to keep up with a whole bunch of lies. So I'll just really tell you the truth.
I take that back. I actually lied to my ex-husband because I told him that I never keyed his car, and I did. But to this day, I know I lied to him. He know I lied, but I would never tell him I did it because he had just did that car. He had just painted it that pearl white, and he pissed me off. Anyway, now everybody know.
Right? So this generation really needs to like step up and think for themselves and really use. And one more thing, I think what's been lost is critical thinking. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I haven't heard of that for a long time. I understand.
My thing is this: we can be friends. I can like you, but I can also disagree with you and tell you when you're wrong. And it's okay. It's okay. Yes. People want to say agree to disagree. It's like no. It's not agree to disagree.
To disagree, there's no such thing.
What it's to say is like, you know what? We have this conversation. I see your point of view. You see my point of view. We just happen to see it from a different perspective, and I can respect that. When people say all agree to disagree is mean like, oh, I don't want to have this conversation anymore. That's not an adult thing to do.
That's not an adult thing to do. Thank you, Jamal.
It's not. It's not.
Oh, I love this saying. Yes, Debbie. I remember my grandmother used to say that. Day runs until night catches it. That's right.
Yeah, I haven't heard that in a long time.
Is, what's done in the dark will always come to light.
Yep.
Always. It's just
I'm gonna watch one of these too, Melanie. I see you. I'm sorry, Jamal. I was looking at Melanie. But
what was it? What are you guys gonna watch? I'm kind of interested.
Okay. She's saying that there was it's called Your Honor. I'm sorry. Gina said it, and then Melanie was telling them they need to watch this guy right here.
No. Oh, yeah. I saw that.
Yes. And then Gina was saying we need to watch Your Honor.
And Debbie's comment is perfect, Heidi. If you could highlight it, and I'll read it.
Okay, where is Debbie's? You talking about that one?
No, it's it's the one in her newest comment.
Oh, let me go down.
Hi, Debbie is on a roll in the comments.
Is this one?
No, the one after. That's right, Jamal. We disagree all the time. Yes, Debbie and I do a show together. We're friends. But we don't always agree. And that's basically what our channel is about. It's about people having a safe space to be themselves, give their opinion, be respectful, and you can have a healthy conversation. Sometimes Debbie will change my mind on some things, and sometimes
I told you she changed my mind. You know she changed my mind. And the moment I knew Debbie was biracial or black, you can tell by just talking to her.
I'm gonna check it. I'm gonna honestly check it out, Jamal and Heidi.
Yeah, we cover so what we cover is reality TV on our channel, and basically what we do, we take reality TV, and we give our commentary on what we see, and we come up with theories based on what the show gives us, and we allow our chat to get involved and give their opinion. They talk amongst themselves, they'll talk to us, and Heidi was on our show last night about the Housewives.
Yes,
and
I enjoyed that too.
And we broke down the Housewives, like the scammers, like who, like what do we think? And it's all about being adult enough to have a conversation and understand that everyone's going to agree with you. We are not 6 years old. This is not Barney and Friends. We don't always have to agree, and people need to get out of that mindset because it's detrimental to your growth. If you can't have adult conversations and be open to other people's point of view, you'll be in the same 22-year-old mindset for the rest of your life.
Yes.
And that's true. Guys, I'm going to put the link. Hold on a second. I'm going to put the link down. If anybody want to come up and say something before we get out of here, please feel free to. I mean, I said it was an open chat. I love to hear everybody's opinion. How's Amber feeling? Hi, Deanna. Alex sent me a message about you couldn't find yourself. I couldn't understand it. But send me a message in IG. And yes. See, Melanie was up here. See this? Seriously, she was on panel.
Yes, she was.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. And I didn't agree with her. She didn't agree with some of the things I said. Debbie and I, when Debbie comes up, Debbie and I and Susie do a show on Thursdays, which is normally tonight, but I didn't watch it. And I don't know if I'm going to watch it. It's called Cocktails with Heidi, but it's Debbie and Susie are here. And we do Married at First Sight, and we break them down. I was so against this one guy, and Debbie started making me see him in a whole different light. And I don't like you to this day for that, Debbie. But
you was anti Jacob the whole way.
I was anti Jacob the whole time. And Debbie changed my mind. She started making me see, because I listened to what she said. I started paying more attention to his mannerisms and everything. Yes. That's what an adult conversation is. This is what a panel is about. We listen, we voice our opinions. And that's why I said whoever wants to come on panel, they can come on panel. Yes. And I'm glad we did this, Jamal. I'm happy you were here. And if you saw, Mina was putting all of the people in the chat that's been killed since 2015 by officers. She was putting them all in the chat. And that's one thing I do love about Mina. She is seriously, she goes in and digs and she puts stuff up. Then you got Kels out here who chats with all the people. You have Sherry. They make everybody feel welcome. Come in, have a good time. I love my mods. I love the people that come up on panel. Yes. I mean, we just have a great time. And we want everybody to know this is an open platform.
You know what it is, Heidi?
What?
I feel like our channels are the model of what commentary should be. Commentary doesn't have to be mean. It doesn't have to be vicious. Commentary should just be a conversation of different points of view, where everyone should be welcome. And you shouldn't feel like, well, if I don't agree with the creator, like they may not like me. No, it should be a place like, you know what? This is what I saw. Because there'll be times where our chat just draws knowledge, especially about the sister wives. Like, hold on, now you're gonna make me go back and watch this scene because I didn't miss something. And it's a fun time. YouTube at its core, at its core is entertainment. That's its core purpose, is entertainment. So you should never go to a channel and feel like, oh, I can't say anything. I feel unwelcome. You should walk in like, you know what? I'm happy to be here. Because think about it. We've been on here almost 2 hours. And for people to give up 2 hours of their life to hear us talk and to give their opinions.
And I'm never on this long. You know that.
Oh, you got us on. We was rolling on our panel. Debbie's like, Jamal, you never stay on this long. I'm like, you right, but this is just too good of a conversation to let go.
Oh, the other night, yes.
But Jamal, I really enjoyed the conversation.
You know what? I want you guys to watch Unmatchable too. It was good. I want to cover that. Okay. And let me tell you what happens. Okay, so Jamal and I cover certain things. We actually cover certain reality shows. Yes. So if I haven't covered it, I'll go in and I'll give them the view, but I can't listen because I don't want him or Debbie to taint what I've already watched.
I do the same thing with Heidi. If I see her, I'm like, okay, let me go. I'll keep it on to get the view time, which is important for new channels. Is the view time.
Yeah.
But I won't listen because I kind of already have my point of view, and I don't want to like you said, be tainted or be persuaded. I want to go with my own thoughts.
And that's what I do. So I'm serious. I love it though. But me, I love it. And I love Debbie on. And because she asked me tonight, she asked me if I was going to cover my Married at First Sight. And I had to correct her. I said, that's our show because people come, they want to hear Debbie's opinion. They want to hear Susie's opinion. They're not coming just for me. That is a great panel that we put together.
Oh, I scream when y'all. I
do too.
One.
I'll be rolling.
I'll be laughing so much. Y'all be having me.
We be drinking and having a good time, just like tonight. I wanted Jamal. I wanted Sincere. I invited AT2, but AT2 he's just getting back to himself. He's been sick.
He has a lot going on, right?
Was strong enough. So I wanted to have a panel of, I know, young, intelligent Black men that can understand and can give people their point of view. And that's what I wanted. And that's what I wanted to bring together.
Yes.
This was like so great. And I appreciate you sending me like the particular cases because it gave me something to work on. Like, okay,
that's why I didn't want you to come in blind. I wanted you to know what I was looking at, what research I was doing. And I sent the same thing to Sincere. I wanted him to be prepared too. I don't want to just catch people offhand. I want you to know, hey, here's what I'm looking for. And then Jamal, I like when you come in and you add your own flavor to it, what you looked up. Sincere, same thing. You looked up some different things. You brought your flavor to it. So I love it.
Yeah.
And Heidi, I'm looking forward to your next true crime because I checked out a couple true crime channels.
Me too, Jamal.
They're solid, but the level of dedication that you and your mods put into it makes me like, okay, I'm waiting for Heidi's true crime.
I'm working on a good one now. I'm really working on a good one. And if I'm not ready to do it, if I don't feel it, it's like something's missing. And I have to be convinced. I have to be convicted in what I'm doing. I have to have that.
Yes.
This is what I see. And it takes me a while to get that way because I look at all avenues.
Yep.
Oh, yes. And I wanted Melanie. I want Dr. Melanie all the time. I owe Dr. Melanie a Married to Medicine, which I'm caught up. And this whole month has just been screwed up for me. But I love to have Dr. Melanie on panel. And you know what, guys? I don't know if you watched when Heidi Light came on panel with me. Jamal, were you in the chat?
Which one? For which?
Heidi Light came on panel when we were discussing George Floyd.
I didn't catch that.
I was there for
Sincere. She was up here with us too. Heidi Light.
Okay. I know what you're talking about. The most recent one we did. Yes.
Yeah, the most recent one. Yes.
I have to go rewatch. I can't remember if I was there or not. But I just enjoy.
But I honestly, I truly enjoy this panel, and I love my voice and doing what I do. Like I'm dedicated to this. Like you gave me a platform, Heidi, to do what I have to do, and I appreciate it. And I will always consider you a true friend from the heart.
Well, I told you, you're more than welcome because we're going to be covering more of these cases and more things. I'm definitely going to cover the case. I'm going to cover the Raymond Childs case. There's another case with 2 young Black men that was accused of raping, of sexual assaulting and killing the white chick. And then there's a case right now of a pregnant Black woman that was killed by, and here is the words,
I sent it
Trump
to you.
lovers, the man and his wife. They killed this young Black pregnant woman. She was like 8 months pregnant, and they stuffed into her chest.
Yep, Jamal, I sent that to Heidi, and Heidi, that is all facts. I sent her that story. She can
I'm looking into that, and I'm going to be covering that as well.
Isn't that a crazy story, Heidi and Jamal?
Yes.
Like
So
that's a
Jamal,
crazy
you
story.
know, if you see something that you want me to cover or something you want me to look into, everybody sends me stuff all the time. So guys, if you send it, I will dedicate my time to doing it. Sally 514, she sent me the story of King that has disappeared and they never found him. She put me in touch with his uncle. So I'm telling you, if you got stories like Michelle, her sister was one of the ABC murder victims in New York. She came on camera.
That was such a great interview. I watched the whole interview. I watched the whole interview.
And she's going to give me an update on what's going on now because they still have the DNA they found. She's working with a detective. She sent me a DM the other day. So I'm telling you, when people send me stuff, I look into it. I write the names down, and I go, I research. I try to find everything I can. And then I try to get in touch with family members or a cousin or someone. I go look up Facebook to see who's related because I would like to get their opinion and what their ideas and thoughts are.
Yes. And the latest case that I'm on right now, Heidi and Jamal, is the biggest one in the headlines with the knife situation with the police. I'm still doing my research on that. I'm just trying to figure out the facts to what really happened, Jamal, you know?
Oh, of course. I mean, research is key to anything.
And that's what
I'm going to be given. There would be there will be an update on the ABC murder case. Definitely would be an update. Michelle sent me a message. She said things have been crazy up there, but the detectives and everything. And then she's got another story about the cops, but all the officers that were just arrested up there because they were running this ring. So she's got all kind of stuff to tell me. So I'm going to bring her back on as well.
Oh yeah, please do, because that case, like in hearing her story, I didn't leave her channel. It was so good.
Yep. So I definitely want to do that. But guys, I don't hold you guys this long, and I'm glad and I'm happy you were here with us.
You're welcome.
Oh my God. Thank you guys.
Real quick. Shout out to Lisa Marciniak. Good to see you. Love Lisa.
She said she's starting to love me. I like that.
You know what I want to do too, Heidi and Jamal?
Yes.
Maybe you guys can like send me a DM and I'll subscribe to all the peoples on the platform that you guys deal with. I'll subscribe to every single one of them.
Okay, I'll send you the commentary zone one. I think you already subscribed to AT2, don't you?
Yes.
Okay, so yes. So we'll do that. But we make everybody feel welcome here. And that's what I want to do. I want you to come in. I want you to be able to talk, speak. I had somebody tell me they used to always, it was Debbie. She said she would always watch, but she would never say anything. I said, why not? She goes, she just started feeling that she was able to come in chat and talk. Of course she can come in chat and talk.
I feel the same way, Heidi, because you really gave me like a platform that I feel comfortable coming on and speaking my voice. I really do, from the bottom of my heart.
I'm glad you said that. Everybody is welcome here, and I said it and I mean it, and it's the truth. I may not agree with some points of view. You may not agree with some of my points of view, but that's life. So everybody's welcome. I open it up. Come on up. You got something to say? Come on up. Feel free.
Yes.
But I appreciate. Let me just tell you guys. All about the tea. Monica has reached 100,000 subs.
Yeah, I texted her last night to congratulate her. She's excited, and I hope she better have already applied for her verification.
She probably already did. Monica has 100K subs, real subs, and you can tell by the people that are in her chat, by the people, 3,000, 4,000 people in a chat at a time. I am so proud of her, so very proud of her. And I told her that, which I'm going to call her after a while, because we normally talk around 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning anyway, when she's winding down from the day.
Yes.
But I'm really going to call her and let her know. But guys, I appreciate all of you. I'm going to be at 100K tomorrow because I'm going to buy some day. No, I'm just joking.
Stop it.
I'm going to buy some subs. I'm going to be at 100K.
You gonna buy them from Pakistan? Is that what you?
Look,
is that what
look,
we're doing?
look, I gotta beat Monica. Look, I gotta beat Monica. I told her when I grew up, I want to be just like her.
Amen.
No,
Amen.
but I think Jamal and Debbie's channel, I think they do a great job. I do. I listen to them, and I would definitely send that to you, Sincere.
Yes,
also,
ma'am.
you already have Dear Yvette,
Yes.
Crystal Gale. I will send you Crystal Gale's as well.
Yes.
Oh, what did she do? What did she do, Heidi?
Crystal talks is basic about her life, but it's entertaining. It's fun. I enjoy it.
Yep,
Ooh.
I will check them all out.
DM me that. I don't know about her.
Yeah, Crystal Gale. She's funny. I mean, it's just about, you know, who can I remind? Oh my God. The name of the show that I used to watch was just, you remember how Carrie was on Sex in the City? How she was narrating everything?
Yeah.
Yes.
Crystal is basically like that, except for she's a black chick.
Gotcha. Yeah, if you could send me her link, I'll definitely subscribe.
I will send you Crystal's link. And she's on IG too. And she's normally in here, but she's not in here tonight. I figured because Yvette just went live too. So but yeah, Yvette went live, and I didn't think I was gonna be this long. But I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you guys. Jamal,
this was fun. Thanks for having
anytime
me.
you want to come on, let me know. You got a topic you want to discuss, let me know. Sincere, you already know what you need to do. You just let me know, and I'm like, okay, cool, we'll discuss it.
I got you. I will follow everybody.
No, Crystal Gale she's a black YouTuber, Debbie. I will send you her information. Let me hold on. I'm gonna put it in the chat for you guys right now. As a matter of fact,
perfect.
I'm gonna drop it right now for you guys. Crystal is Crystal. Here she goes. Hold on, let me give this to you right now. She's on IG, and hold on, let me give it to you. This is her. That's her IG handle right there. Crystal Galeman. Mim, that's her name. She's funny. That's Crystal. So, yes, guys, please like and subscribe. Thank you guys for being here. Love all of you. Good night, gentlemen. I will talk to you later. Love you guys.
Yes, ma'am.
Good night. Love you.
Y'all have a good one, Jamal.
All right. Bye.
You too,
yeah.